But see, when Ali Carter came back and, also addressed it, now that's just dead. I did my best to put on a good face. I tried to say all the right things. I tried not to compromise everybody. I tried.
Something strange is happening around Ally Carter, and now 50 Cent is being pulled directly into the conversation. For weeks, Ally has been making alarming claims about people watching her, targeting her, and trying to silence her. But now the story has taken another turn. Online supporters are pointing to what they believe are signs that Ally could be in serious danger. And the biggest question is this: is somebody actually trying to make Ally disappear? Or are people connecting dots that don't belong together?
Now I think a lot of people are not ready for someone to tell you that there are 3-4-year-olds that people take pride in sticking bars up children. I don't think people are going to be able to stomach the fact that people tie 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old children to horse stables and have horses and dogs them, and then they get off on that. I don't think people are going to be able to stomach the fact that people hang children upside down in satanic ritual abuse. Literally, by metal prongs, they hang them to get blood dripping out of them, and people go up under and like you're under a rainfall to take their blood. There are situations that I don't think people are ready for. We're not touching the seriousness of trafficking. Like, the videos that I've made, the videos that I've started to make, this is not even touching. This is the gist of it. And I think so many people are quick to raise a sign and say adrenochrome, but you don't know what it means, and you don't know why it's such a thing, why it's such a strong thing in trafficking, and what makes it so strong. What, you know that they're drinking children's blood, but you don't know what they're doing to those children.
Before we go any further, let's be clear about one thing.
Watching an episode called Pig Night, when I went, they tried to feed us, and I remember it because when
Pig
you
night.
have to do
Say what?
orders, jobs like that, you don't eat. You're not allowed to eat. You actually have to starve yourself, because when you have to do those type of jobs, you can't eat because you will throw up. This happens, your parents will get mad at you. Really mad at you. And if that is a fetish for someone, they use that to their advantage. So if you throw up on someone, you will have to eat it. If you someone, you will have to lay in it. Celebrities that are a constant visit.
There is no verified public evidence proving that Ally Carter has been kidnapped or that 50 Cent has personally produced proof of a kidnapping.
You get pressured, attacked, stalked, and hunted down for your own information. You get abused and re-victimized again by people who wanted to argue a back and forth this week like that fucking mattered. Okay? You had Stu Peters and Timothy Charles Homestead going back and forth, and nobody has even bothered. Not that I give a damn, and not that I understand that you guys are going to be that selfish, but nobody has bothered to apologize for all the hell that has happened. But you guys were arguing back and forth, and in that meantime, we lost our home. You don't believe me? Here you go. What once was a full house, we were still paying rent on our house. What we were doing this whole time was moving everything because our house is gone. Our house is gone. This is the speaking out. What was our beautiful 3-bedroom acre home on 21225 Standing Rock Avenue, because everybody has the address, because organizations that were attached to Marx, Sawyer, and many other organizations decided to put out the address, my license plate to one of my cars, and many other. So here you go. You can have it, right? Because this is what happens when you speak out. This is what happens when you tell all the truth. This is what happens when you decided to stand up for the children. And when you understand that survivors don't just get to do a seminar. And when you understand that survivors don't just get to just be and then show up somewhere and talk and monetize every thing that they're saying. When you realize that that's bullshit, then you will understand. Look at the tactics and pay attention.
What we are discussing are claims, statements, online reactions, and the growing controversy surrounding her situation. But even with that warning, the story has become impossible for many people to ignore.
You know, every time I've been arrested for something that I didn't do, and yet nobody said, but did he get arrested finally and get the book ready to be thrown at his very, very, very dance? Y'all watch me get arrested there just for bringing Gene Deal to doubt.
Allie Carter has spent years speaking publicly about traumatic experiences and making serious allegations involving powerful people in the entertainment world.
And I'll never forget the day when they breached the house. And I left. You know, back in that moment, Cat was still wearing Kevlar to bed. I would get in bed with him at night and he would have Kevlar on in bed.
Her claims have circulated widely online, while the details and level of corroboration vary depending on the source.
I did my best to put on a good face. I tried to say all the right things. I tried not to compromise everybody. I tried. And guess what?
At what moment did it not work? Like, were you like, man?
Sitting with my son's corpse.
For
what was the question that loomed about my mind? For what?
And that's exactly why this latest development has people watching closely. Because whenever someone becomes a controversial voice against powerful figures, the conversation usually splits into two camps. One side says, listen to her. The other says, show the evidence. And now, with 50 Cent's name entering the conversation, people are asking whether this is finally the moment when somebody with a huge platform starts demanding answers.
50 Cent has built a reputation for watching celebrity drama from the sidelines and then jumping into the conversation when he sees something that catches his attention. Sometimes he jokes, sometimes he trolls, and sometimes he turns a controversial story into something much bigger. That's why the idea of 50 Cent getting involved with Allie Carter has people paying attention. But here's the twist. The biggest part of this story isn't necessarily what 50 Cent said. It's what people believe his involvement could mean. Because Allie has repeatedly portrayed herself as someone who feels threatened and targeted. And when a person starts saying they don't feel safe, every strange incident suddenly gets looked at differently. A suspicious message, a strange vehicle, a missing person, a sudden disappearance from social media, a change in location. Something that normally wouldn't mean much can suddenly look terrifying. And that's where this story gets complicated. Supporters of Allie argue that she has been warning people for years. They believe the public should take her concerns seriously instead of waiting until something terrible happens. Critics, however, say that serious accusations require serious evidence. And honestly, that's the part people need to remember. Because the internet can turn a rumor into a fact in less than an hour. One person makes a claim. Another person repeats it. A third person adds a detail. Then somebody posts a dramatic thumbnail. And suddenly thousands of people believe something has been confirmed when it hasn't. But that doesn't mean every concern should automatically be dismissed either. And that's the uncomfortable middle ground. Allie's public statements have created a huge amount of discussion because she has described experiences involving abuse, trafficking, and powerful figures. Those allegations have been repeated across social media and interviews, but different sources describe them with very different levels of detail and verification. So when people hear the words Allie Carter is being kidnapped, the first question shouldn't be who did it. The first question should be what evidence actually exists. And that's where 50 Cent becomes interesting. Because 50 Cent understands attention. He understands how quickly a story can explode. And he knows that once millions of people start asking the same question, the pressure changes. Suddenly, it's no longer just one person making a statement. It's an entire audience demanding answers. Now, imagine the situation from Allie's perspective. If you genuinely believe someone is watching you,
Every knock at the door feels different. Every unknown phone number feels different. Every unfamiliar car outside your home feels different. Every time you lose contact with somebody, your mind starts asking questions. And when your story is already controversial, you have another problem. People don't know what to believe. Some people will support you, some will attack you, some will accuse you of lying.
Others will say you're brave for speaking. That kind of pressure can become overwhelming. And that's why the kidnapping narrative has become so emotionally powerful online. People aren't just talking about an internet controversy anymore. They're talking about someone's safety. But here's where we have to slow down. There is a major difference between saying, Allie has expressed fear for her safety, and saying, Allie has been kidnapped. Those are not the same statement. One describes a reported concern. The other describes a specific crime that would require confirmation. And right now, that confirmation is not established by the reliable sources I could find. Still, something else is happening. People are going back through old clips. They're looking at previous statements. They're comparing things Allie said months or years ago with what she's saying now. And they're asking whether there were warning signs that everyone ignored. That's a classic pattern in celebrity controversies. Something happens today, and suddenly people revisit yesterday. A clip that seemed insignificant before becomes evidence. An old statement suddenly sounds like a warning. A strange moment suddenly gets a completely different interpretation. But hindsight can be dangerous. Sometimes the connection is real. Sometimes it's coincidence. And sometimes people simply see what they already believe. That's why evidence matters. Now let's talk about the role of Jaguar Wright. Jaguar has also been connected to conversations surrounding Allie and the entertainment industry's darker allegations. Her public statements have helped push the discussion into a much larger conversation about what happens behind the scenes in the music business.
But Jaguar herself has also faced criticism and skepticism. And that's important because when multiple controversial personalities repeat similar claims, people sometimes assume that automatically makes those claims true. It doesn't. At the same time, criticism doesn't automatically make them false. The only way to move forward is to examine specific evidence. Documents, police reports, court records, verified footage, direct statements, independent witnesses. That's what separates a dramatic internet story from something that can actually be established. And that's where 50 Cent's supposed proof becomes the key question. What exactly did he show? Was it a verified document? Was it a direct statement from Allie? Was it footage? Was it simply a social media post? Or was the entire story created from people interpreting his online activity? Those details matter, because a screenshot can look convincing and still tell you almost nothing. A video can be real and still be taken completely out of context. A post can be genuine and still not prove the conclusion people attach to it. And that's why viewers should never let a dramatic headline do the thinking for them. But there is another side to this story that deserves attention. If Allie really believes she is in danger, the answer isn't for millions of strangers to investigate her situation through social media. The answer is for credible authorities and professionals to examine whatever evidence actually exists. Because if there is a real threat, that threat needs to be documented. And if there isn't, the public deserves to know that too. Either way, facts matter. Now, here's what makes this story so emotional. Imagine speaking publicly about something traumatic and then having millions of people debate whether you're telling the truth. Imagine waking up and seeing strangers discussing your life. Imagine every statement you make becoming content. Imagine knowing that some people believe you completely while others think you're inventing everything. That's a brutal position to be in. And whether you believe Allie's claims or not, nobody should be casually encouraging harassment or violence against her. That's where the conversation needs to draw a line. You can question someone's allegations. You can demand evidence. You can disagree with their story. But you don't need to threaten them. And you certainly don't need to turn an unverified kidnapping story into a reason for people to go after somebody. The internet already moves too fast. One headline can destroy someone's reputation. One rumor can create panic. And one false accusation can follow someone forever. That's why this story needs to be handled carefully. Because if Allie is actually in danger, the worst thing the public can do is bury the real warning under exaggerations and fake information. And if she isn't being kidnapped, falsely claiming that she is can create a completely different kind of danger. That's the irony. The people claiming to protect someone can sometimes make the situation worse. And that brings us back to 50 Cent. If he really has evidence, people want to see exactly what it is. Not rumors, not vague hints, not cryptic posts, not speculation. Real evidence.
Because that's the one thing that could completely change this conversation. If verified evidence comes forward showing that Allie was actually targeted or abducted, then this becomes an entirely different story. But until that happens, we should be careful about presenting an allegation as a confirmed kidnapping. And maybe that's the biggest lesson in all of this. We live in an era where celebrity drama moves at lightning speed. A headline appears, millions watch, people react. And before anyone checks the facts, the internet has already decided what happened. But real life doesn't work that way. Real victims deserve evidence. Real accusations deserve investigation. And real criminals deserve consequences. Not internet rumors, not clickbait, not conspiracy theories. Consequences based on facts. So if you're watching this right now and you're wondering whether Allie Carter has actually been kidnapped, the honest answer is that there is no reliable confirmation establishing that as fact. What we do know is that Allie has publicly made serious allegations and expressed concerns about her experiences and safety. Those claims have attracted enormous attention online, but their details remain disputed and unevenly corroborated. And now people want to know whether 50 Cent has something more, something concrete, something that can be independently verified. Because if he does, the conversation could change overnight. But until that evidence appears, don't let a dramatic title make the conclusion for you. Watch the claims, look for the receipts, separate what someone said from what has actually been proven. And most importantly, remember that behind every viral story is a real human being. If Allie is genuinely in danger, hopefully she gets the protection and support she needs. And if these claims turn out to be exaggerated or misunderstood, hopefully the truth comes out just as clearly. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about 50 Cent. It isn't just about Allie Carter. And it isn't just about celebrity drama. It's about what happens when the internet is asked to decide the truth before the evidence does. So what do you think? Do you believe 50 Cent has actually shown evidence that Allie is in danger? Or do you think people online are connecting dots without enough proof? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if new verified information comes out, that's when this story could take a completely different turn.